I introduced you there as the last man to be called the undisputed world heavyweight champion from Great Britain, but hey, your status as that may be under threat because Daniel Dubois gets his chance to become that man very, very soon. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking he's ready. He's been through the trials and tribulations. He's the King Slayer, and he's got the power. He's been there before, so he was just there. He knocked the guy down, so he knows what he needs to do.
Lennox Lewis shocks the boxing world by declaring Daniel Dubois will dethrone Alexander Usyk in their Wembley rematch, igniting a storm of controversy.
It's not an easy task, but he's definitely the man that can go through with it. He's done the work, he's gone through the pedigree, and he's a certified champion. So, I think he has big hopes on doing it. He's going to do it.
Lennox Lewis has stunned the boxing world with a bold claim that could shake the heavyweight division. He believes Daniel Dubois is going to defeat Alexander Usyk in their upcoming rematch. Coming from the last man to be crowned an undisputed British heavyweight champion, that's no small endorsement. Lewis, who famously unified the division in 1999, thinks the younger Brit is ready to complete one of the most remarkable comebacks in modern boxing. In his eyes, Dubois has been through the fire and come out stronger, and now he's got what it takes to pull off a victory few thought possible just a year ago.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. He's done the work. The work is fighting these guys and learning as he goes along and gaining the confidence as he did. So he's more confident going in there as a champion. He's not a young guy going in there. It's a guy that's been in there before. So he knows what it takes to win. So he just has to make sure he has a great plan because he's going in there against a great warrior. And Alexander Usyk is a man that, he's study you. So if you throw like two punches, he's going to be throwing 4 punches. So, he's got to make sure that he rallies on his combinations and, he's got the power ready. So just focus on speed.
Lewis isn't the only figure backing Dubois. Others in the boxing world have taken notice of his dramatic rise, including Filip Herovic, one of the men Dubois stopped during his run of form. Herovic knows firsthand what it's like to share the ring with the British heavyweight. He went into their bout as the favorite, but was overwhelmed by Dubois' pressure and eventually stopped due to cuts in the 8th round. Watching from the outside now, Herovic sees a very different Dubois compared to the one who faced Usyk the first time. He noted that the Brit has clearly improved, not just in power, but in confidence and durability. Even Dubois' chin, which had previously been questioned, now seems much stronger to Herovic, though he still gives Usyk a slight edge due to his technical abilities. Herovic warned that the rematch would be far more competitive this time.
Okay.
Who are you thinking? Usyk, Dubois?
Well, look, I think this now totally different fight than first fight. In first fight, Dubois was outboxed, outclassed, and now I think he's definitely different type of fighter, and he had 3 great wins, and his confidence is much better, much bigger. He did something with his chin. I don't know what, but his chin is better, and he's totally different fighter. But so I expect totally different fight and much harder fight for Usyk than the first fight. I still favor Usyk slightly, but I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Dubois win that.
While Lewis made it clear he believes Dubois will win, others have taken more cautious positions. Promoter Eddie Hearn didn't go so far as to pick Dubois outright, but acknowledged that the fighter heading into the ring now is far removed from the one Usyk faced previously. Hearn emphasized the impact of Dubois' recent victories, especially the momentum generated from stopping 3 dangerous opponents. Although Hearn expressed concern over Dubois' 10-month layoff, especially after a missed fight with Joseph Parker, he still believes Dubois has all the ingredients to shock the world. His knockout power, combined with his renewed self-belief, gives him a real chance. And in heavyweight boxing, that's often all you need.
For Dubois, the inactivity, missing out on that Joseph Parker fight might hurt him a little bit because the momentum for Daniel Dubois has been incredible. I mean, he beat Miller, he beat Herovic, he beat AJ. but it will be, 10 months out of the ring. I still believe he'll have that confidence, but I think he could have done with that Parker fight, or certainly this fight, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. When they fought last time, I don't think that was the best Alexander Usyk by any stretch of the imagination, but I also don't think it was the Daniel Dubois that we've got now. At that stage, Daniel Dubois had very little confidence. He went to Poland, big crowd, and gave Usyk a decent fight. Didn't win many rounds, but he looked dangerous in the fight. Obviously the controversial low blow as well. And now I think Dubois has a lot more confidence. The reality is, this is for the undisputed heavyweight world championship. Daniel Dubois could be the undisputed world heavyweight champion. I don't think he will be, but he's dangerous and he can punch and he's strong. Look at the size of Anthony Joshua. Look at the size of Tyson Fury. And they weren't able to get on the front foot, beat him up and push him back. Can Daniel Dubois do it? Probably not, but he's young, he's heavy-handed, he's confident, and he's in the fight.
Frazier Clark added a more measured take. While recognizing the technical and emotional growth Dubois has shown, Clark warned that brute strength alone won't be enough to dethrone someone as mentally sharp and composed as Usyk. To beat a fighter like Usyk, Clark stressed, Dubois will need more than just physicality. He'll need perfect timing, discipline, and the ability to outthink a master tactician over 12 rounds. Clark views this rematch as a highly technical showdown, where mental fortitude and ring IQ will decide the outcome, not just power punches.
It gives a lot more. It's a different Dubois, it's a different fight. I think he gives a lot more problem. I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think he's starting to realise when he hits things, things fall over. If he hits them often enough and clean enough, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're Usyk or whoever else. I know he's a tough man, Usyk, but if Daniel hits you often enough and hard enough, you break. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Saying that, I know he's in great form and that, but this Usyk, mate, he's the real deal, mate. So no one just get giddy and get too excited about Daniel, mate. We're talking about the real deal, and Alexander Usyk. When he needs to be tough and tough, and when he needs to be super smart, he's that as well. But I think Daniel, with the wave of confidence he's got, would cause him more problems now than he did before, definitely.
Another voice in the conversation was heavyweight contender Fabio Wardley. Having sparred with both Usyk and Dubois, Wardley has a unique perspective. In his view, Usyk's true strength lies in his calmness under fire and his ability to adapt mid-fight. No matter how much Dubois has grown, Wardley feels that Usyk's experience and ring intelligence still give him the upper hand. Wardley pointed to Usyk's smooth movement and ability to nullify an opponent's strengths as major factors that could lead him to another win.
It's still a fantastic fight regardless. Obviously, Dubois had a bit of growing since his first time out with Usyk. So, yeah, it still makes for a very intriguing fight, but I do think for the most part it's pretty much going to go the same way. Not to take anything away from Daniel and his progression over time, but ultimately I just think Usyk is a hard man to bet against at the moment.
Not all support for Dubois is rooted in objectivity though. Eubank Jr voiced his backing for the Brit as well, but it seemed driven more by personal reasons than boxing insight. Eubank has had a tense history with Usyk, especially after the Ukrainian publicly supported Eubank's rival Conor Benn. While Eubank's support added more media attention and hype to the bout, it didn't provide much analytical weight to the discussion.
I saw something about Usyk saying that he thought Conor Benn won the fight. I don't know if this is true. I can't imagine that he watched that fight and thought that Conor Benn won, because it's just, I landed twice as many punches. But people are telling me it's true. If that's the truth, then I'm low-key rooting for Dubois.
Team Dubois, absolutely. Yeah.
Because that's crazy. That's really crazy to me. And I've met Usyk a bunch of times and we've always been cool, so I was kind of shocked to see that.
Teddy Atlas, the veteran boxing analyst and trainer, approached the matchup from a psychological angle. For him, this fight is about more than physical improvements. It's about emotional evolution. He pointed out how both men have matured significantly since their first meeting. Usyk, facing the weight of representing a nation at war, has shown unbreakable mental strength, which may make him more focused than ever. On the other side, Atlas praised Dubois for rebuilding himself after past failures. For Atlas, Dubois' transformation from a defeated prospect to a reigning champion shows resilience and character, two elements that could play a key role come fight night.
I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them as men, forget about fighters, as men, I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and just, like I said, just destroying what he loves, Ukraine. And I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk.
Trainer Adam Booth echoed similar thoughts. Booth, who's followed Dubois' journey closely, believes the fighter has finally grown into a thinking boxer, rather than just relying on knockout power. Booth said Dubois now understands how to shift tactics and adjust during a bout. That kind of adaptability will be critical when facing a seasoned technician like Usyk. Booth no longer sees Dubois as reckless, but as someone with the tools to navigate a high-level fight against a master of movement and precision.
Adam playing out.
Different to the first one. I can make much more of an argument for Dubois in this fight.
Me too.
Firstly, because he actually had success in the first fight.
He did. Do you think it was a low blow?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You do think it was a low blow?
Absolutely was. If you look,
you do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry. You caught me out then with the question. If you watch, it lands low, and while it's got contact with the shorts, it actually rides up at the point of impact.
So I've no use to my argument.
But it's irrelevant. Because they're going to fight again.
Yeah.
Usyk won the first time, and as he said, he won by stoppage. But Daniel Dubois is a different fighter now. Fighting is 90% mental, and he is a completely different fighter mentally. He lets his hands go with freedom. He now trusts his engine because he had those rounds with Jarrell Miller that tested his engine. Yeah. So he's kind of ticked the little boxes along the way, old school style.
Still, there are seasoned observers who don't see the result changing. Johnny Nelson, a former cruiserweight world champion, believes Usyk will once again find a way to win. Nelson doesn't predict a quick knockout, but he sees Usyk gradually breaking Dubois down over the course of the fight. He pointed out that Usyk has repeatedly shown an ability to overcome size disadvantages using his intelligence and strategy to nullify bigger, stronger opponents. For Nelson, it's Usyk's ability to outthink and outmaneuver his challengers that separates him from the rest of the division.
The top 5 heavyweights.
The world heavyweight landscape is completely changed massively over the last 2 years. All these Usyk, he's in a pick and fight. I'll pick him. Might be 2 fights down the line, he's gone. The heavyweight landscape, they're looking for a new star, a new dominant figure, and it could involve Fabio. The boxing snob is out there winning now. Moses, wicked fighter, young fighters coming through. You look at how Daniel has all of a sudden his confidence has come up. We'll see how he goes on against Usyk. Again, he may shock the world. So the landscape has changed, which again, it's very hard to predict tomorrow.
How much of a chance do you give Daniel Dubois in comparison to the second AJ fight, the Fury fights?
I think Daniel's performance in this fight will be better than his first fight against Usyk, but I do believe Usyk will put on a better performance and probably stop Daniel. In my opinion, Usyk has forever shown the public that let me blueprint your download your blueprint, and I've got your number. He beat Tyson better the second time. He beat AJ better the second time, and both fighters boxed better the second time around. So the only thing Daniel's got now, he's got unbelievable self-belief and confidence that's come since their last fight. So again, we'll just see what's changed.
British boxing legend Ricky Hatton offered perhaps the most balanced perspective. He acknowledged how far Dubois has come since suffering a tough defeat against Joe Joyce. Hatton believes those losses were turning points that forced Dubois to grow. He also praised the caliber of opposition Dubois has recently defeated, pointing out that stopping fighters like Joshua, Miller, and Herovic is no small feat. According to Hatton, those wins didn't just pad Dubois' record, they turned him into a real threat on the world stage.
Dubois, what do you make of that fight, the rematch?
I think it's the best fight. I think they're the best 2 heavyweights in the world, and
was a bit of controversy with the last time, which goes with the grain in boxing, doesn't it? A bit of controversy, but no, I think Daniel's got a better chance than he had the first time. Yeah, what with the win off Joshua, that his confidence is massively up. Well, when he fought Usyk last time, he come off the defeat from Joyce, and but now he's absolutely flying. He's got as good a chance. Better chance than he had the first time around, I think.
Former heavyweight title holder Shannon Briggs made it clear that he sees Usyk retaining his belts. For Briggs, it isn't just about youth or muscle, it's about intelligence in the ring. He applauded Usyk's ability to adjust in real time, control the tempo of a fight, and stay one step ahead of his opponents. Briggs believes these qualities are what separate Usyk from the rest, and why he still sees him as the dominant force in the division.
Wow, long time. You the champ, you the champ. Alexander Usyk's going to face Daniel Dubois in England and Wembley. Who do you think wins that one? I like Usyk.
At the same time, Chris Algieri offered a more nuanced look at the rematch by focusing on the psychological evolution of Dubois. He sees a fighter who has matured beyond simply seeking payback. According to Algieri, Dubois is entering this second bout with a calm demeanor, clear strategy, and a mindset shaped by past lessons and recent victories. That mental shift combined with physical preparation makes him a more complete and dangerous presence in the ring than ever before.
But the narrative is much better for the Dubois rematch. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against, Herovic, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. You know, the guy has really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy, so this rematch will be different. Also, you have the fact that Usyk, in the ring after his win over Tyson Fury, Dubois came into the ring, challenged him, and Usyk said, Your Excellency, Turkey, make the fight with Dubois. He's a man of his word. That guy says something, there's a good chance it's going to happen. So I believe the narrative is there, for this fight, obviously, and this is one of the reasons why it's being made.
Jarrell Miller, who recently shared the ring with Dubois and suffered a knockout loss, added his perspective as someone who has directly experienced Dubois' current form. While Miller acknowledged the significant improvements in Dubois' game, particularly his power and composure, he framed the upcoming fight in terms of Usyk's condition. After back-to-back grueling bouts with Tyson Fury, Miller suspects the champion might be showing signs of physical wear. If Usyk enters the fight with anything less than 100%, Miller believes Dubois has a real shot at pulling off the upset.
I think he's definitely graduated since our fight. Can Dubois pull it off? I think he definitely can. It depends on how much Usyk has in the tank, if he can outwit Dubois. I think it's a great fight regardless. And the best man is gonna win. You know what I mean? I want my rematch with Dubois. I'm gonna fuck him up. But it's weird, man. Dubois is the only person that can make me want to hate him and then like him, literally within 30 seconds of my brain, I want to kill this motherfucking I like Dubois. It's weird. He's one of the only fighters that actually do that to me. But I realized that if you actually meet Dubois and talk to him, there's a reason why you have that love-hate sympathy with him. You know what I'm trying to say? So all power to Dubois. You know what I mean? Hopes he pulls it off in many ways and give him a goddamn rematch.
John Fury, the outspoken father of Tyson Fury, also weighed in and has become one of the louder voices supporting Dubois. Having watched Usyk go through 2 punishing battles against his son, Fury feels the Ukrainian's body may be catching up with him. In his opinion, the timing couldn't be better for Dubois, who brings youth, raw strength, and physical dominance to the equation. Fury sees this as more than just another title defense for Usyk. It's a moment of vulnerability and an ideal opening for Dubois to shake up the entire heavyweight landscape.
Usyk was a lucky man. Timing was right for him. That's all I can say about that. What's done's done, but let me tell you, good luck to Alexander Usyk. He deserves to stay champion for a long time, but again, he's going to go on too long. And I just see now Daniel Dubois becoming a multi-belt champion soon, because how many fights you got in you? You come up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, you got these big men banging away at you. He's only got to walk into one, and the bar's up for him. He's on a good win over Anthony Joshua. He had a good fight with the American Miller. you know, and at the end of the day, I just think it's a young man's game and anything can happen, but you could well see a new champion in Wembley soon.
So as July 19th approaches, the boxing world remains split. Usyk is still unbeaten, a two-weight undisputed champion, and a cerebral operator who has handled every style thrown at him. But Dubois, now a full IBF champion, is riding a wave of momentum and redemption with an upgraded skill set and renewed belief. His knockout victories have turned heads, and his confidence is peaking at just the right moment. The rematch promises more than just a clash of fists. It's a test of two very different stories colliding under the lights at Wembley. For Usyk, it's about maintaining his legacy. For Dubois, it's about rewriting his. Whether he truly has what it takes to finish the job remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. This time, Daniel Dubois isn't just showing up, he's coming to win.